Hi guys, it's Sam with Bueller Custom Baits. Today we're going to be doing a bucktail jig. We're starting off with this 1/16 ounce jig head, and we're going to go ahead and add some adhesive. I'm using Loon hardhead, and we're going to start our tie. I'm using a white 160 denier thread, and we're going to tie that down to the hook shank and then back up to the head of the jig. This is a collarless 1/16 ounce jig. Go ahead and cut off our tag end and wipe away some of that excess. Today we're going to be using white bucktail. We're going to be doing 2 ties of bucktail into this jig just to give it a little bit of a full tail. We're going to tie on both sides. So once you've chosen your bucktail, you're going to take out the guard hairs and then measure it up and set it right against the collar. We're going just slightly to the right hand side of that jig and tie it all the way in. We're going to go ahead and grab ourselves another piece of bucktail, and we're going to repeat this process just for the other side, getting rid of the guard hairs. And then we're going to add that in on that other side, tying it in, just giving it a more full tail, just to provide a little bit more action in the water. And we're tying it further along that other side, just to cover up that hook. Tie it all the way down to the point of the hook, and then we're going to tie it all the way back and do a little bit of cleanup there. Now with this jig, we're going to be using a woolly crystal flash. This chenille is pretty nice. It gives it a lot of light refraction. That way I don't have to add flash into the tail end of the jig, because this chenille is going to provide plenty of flash up front on the body. Just had a little bit of a tangle in my bobbin there, undoing that. Once we have that tied in, we're going to make nice even wraps. And with this type of chenille, it's almost a necessity to brush it back after each wrap. And that's just to move those fibers back, providing that it has a full body and those fibers don't get tied back down when you're wrapping your chenille. That is the one thing about these chenilles. Those fibers, they can get caught under or stick onto anything. Some people use brushes for this. I prefer just to use my fingers because I feel like I can hold it a little bit better while I'm wrapping. And then we're going to go ahead and wrap over the chenille and tie that in. I always like to do this twice just to make sure that it's tied in real well, just in case there's any slippage. And then we can go ahead and cut our chenille. Now we're going to go ahead and pull those fibers back while we're making our collar. That's just to avoid having too many tied up into that collar. And we're going to go ahead and whip finish this. We can go ahead and cut our thread now. And we're going to go ahead and add some adhesive to the collar of this jig just to make sure that it stays and that it'll not stay in place. With this type of chenille, you have to be really careful. Any type of adhesive that it actually dries onto that chenille will hold it down, mat it down, and harden it. So as you're going through, you want to start at the actual jig head and kind of push your brushes down, or use an applicator. I think I grab a small screwdriver at this point to add some on there. And then wiping away the excess, making sure that there's none stuck to that actual chenille. Now that we have our finished jig, we can go ahead and get a couple of close-up shots with that. This provides a pretty nice ice minnow. It's a good profile. Thank you guys for watching.